my name is Fran and I wrote this book called Embossing Powder Techniques from A to Z. And I thought I'd give you a quick run through in this video so that you can see what sort of book it is and decide if it's something that you just have to have. So you can see the wide array of beautiful embossing powders, and many of them, like the Frontage powders, are all covered with lots of fun ways to use them. So just to show you, I thought going through some of the pages here would be helpful to see. The table of contents has A to Z techniques, but there's many variations within each one. We cover basic supplies, we cover different types of embossing powders. This will help you be very knowledgeable about granulation, or whether you want clear or opaque or chunky and why. Lots of information there. And then we start from basic embossing projects to tips in solving problems. If you're running into a problem and don't understand why, this page may help you. And more problem solving. And then we just keep building from one technique to another. There's so many different tips that you can use to do your embossing from. And whether you want, why do you want detail powder instead of regular, or why would you use chunky? All of that gets covered in here, and lots of fun projects. But it's more about techniques than it is about a particular stamp design. You could take any of these techniques and use them in a variety of different ways. So from resist and watercolor and all kinds of inks. It's going to give you a lot of tips that save you time. And using your iron for different techniques. On this page you can do foil with embossing powder. Here we've got embossing powders used as sand painting and working in with Dreamweaver stencils. A lot of stencil techniques with paste and embossing powder. So it just keeps going. This covers working on different surfaces, from acetate to wood veneer. And then we get into encrusted jewel technique, where you heat powders from underneath and can do so many fun things with it. So the idea is just keep building. Here we've got tips for all different kinds of curved surfaces, metal things. How do you stamp around a corner or around a curve? Chalkboard look is easy with embossing powders. Lots and lots of fun things you can do, from making jewelry to personalizing all kinds of metal things, and glass and acrylic. Steampunk look, we've got lots of ideas for that. Did you know you could stamp and emboss on feathers and shells? Lots to do with that. Here's antique embossing with paint and resist techniques. Here's painting with powder using just inks. You really can work with whatever interest you have, from card making to scrapbooking to steampunk, or all sorts of mixed media ideas. There's lots in this one book. And then I get into the deep impression, which is my real fun technique using a pancake griddle for heat from underneath. And there's all kinds of fun things you can create with that if you really want to get into it. Working on canvases, adding pastes, and mold making, you name it. There's just that much in the book. So when you see the Embossing Powder Techniques book from A to Z, you get all the way through the many ideas, and you get to the back and it says this is the end of the book, but not the end of creative adventures with embossing powders. Of course not. I keep coming up with more ideas. So have fun with your stamping and embossing, and go emboss something today.